LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerding Out on Neurodiversity, the podcast for all things neurodivergence. I'm Dr. Matt Zakreski, clinical psychologist and professional speaker, and I'm happy to be your host through the wild trails of the neurodivergent world.
And I'm Jake Noonan, educational coach and humanities teacher, your co-host and producer, and I'm thrilled to help share the stories and the experiences of wonderful people in the world of neurodiversity.
We're really excited for today's guest, which we are going to say a lot because we're always really excited about every guest we get. So let's get into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Nerding Out on Neurodiversity. I am your host, Dr. Matt Zakreski, clinical psychologist, professional speaker, published author, wearer of many hats. With me, as always, is the Chucky to my Tommy Pickles, Mr. Jake Noonan. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, everybody. Great to be here, as always. I love the Chucky aspect, because it could have been, like, Phil and Lil. It could have been, like, Dill and Tommy.
Oh!
But you went Chucky, which is, I always love Chucky.
God, that show is wild. Mm-hmm. Like, going back, watching it with my own children, now it's like, they really just put us in front of this and just had us watch it. And it's like, cool.
Totally not traumatized.
Good times. So we have a guest today that I personally just think is one of the most pleasant and easy people to talk to in the whole world. She also happens to be an incredible scholar and advocate and change agent. Lindsay, welcome to the podcast. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you, and I just feel honored that you asked to have a conversation.
Yeah. Well, the real reason we asked you is that it's actually your birthday present. Mm-hmm. So, because as we record this on Wednesday, August 6th, your birthday is the 4th, right? Now, nobody wants me to sing, so happy birthday, blah, 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 blah. You can put that audio in post.
I'm just going to take what you just said and make a song out of it for her.
Yay!
Auto-tune? Do people still auto-tune things?
I'm going to not auto-tune it.
You're in 8 bands. Make it a good thing. Make me sound good. That's why now nobody wants me to sing, so happy birthday, blah, 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 blah. You can put that audio in post. Now nobody wants me to sing. Birthday, blah, 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 blah. Birthday, blah, 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 blah. Now nobody wants me to sing. Birthday. So happy birthday, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So Lindsay, for people who don't know you, what is it you do?
So I am an educational psychologist, and I focus on gifted education, creativity, I'd say educational reform for making advanced education better. I work with a lot like university administrators and K-12 administrators and do program evaluations. I try to bridge research and practice. So I also, I love data science, and I build some dashboards and some tools for them. I want to help make learning better. So, educational psychology is the study of learning and, make learning better in different ways. There's a lot of things that helped me choose that path, but my son is a twice exceptional learner, and I want to help kids like him in schools, or even myself whenever I was a little kid in school. And then I was also a former K-12 teacher. I taught AP World and AP Psych. And so I have pictures of my students on my board, and they always, inspire me to think about how I could have, or how I did help them on their journeys.
I don't think I knew you were ever a classroom teacher. I think that's awesome. Gosh, trying to picture you teaching AP Psych. It's like looking into the future.
I loved that. That was one of my favorite classes. We never had it so I taught at Little Elm High School and at Little Elm ISD here in Texas. And they didn't have a psych program. And I was like, well, we're going to have one. My students wanted it. And it was probably, other than AP World, yeah. There's so many topics you can talk about in AP Psych. It touches on like everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
In my high school, our AP Psych class was taught by a woman that we had on faculty who was she was an attorney. It said Esquire after her name, which I just, when you're 17 and you're snarky as shit, you're like, Esquire. Right?
But it's something.
Mm-hmm.
It's something.
She worked hard for that.
Right? She listen, looking back on it, like, God, I wish I had taken advantage of that more. Like, I was definitely, but like, also, she knew both of my parents were psychologists. So she would teach something and then she'd look at me, she's like, and is that accurate, Mr. Zakrowski? I'm like, dude, I'm 17. Like, I'm really just trying to think about like how to ask Lindsay to prom. I was like, why do you keep level setting this with me? Like, I'm not your enemy here, Miss Brennan. I am really just trying to get an A.
Oh gosh.
Is that accurate? Like,
gosh. Like, that's funny. I don't think I had that experience in teaching. And I don't think I had anyone who had a psychology like parent background that I knew of, but figuring out what it was that motivated my students and like what was their reason for taking it. And they had passion projects. So it was always fun to see their research class and they're doing their little mini experiments, high school experiments, a lot of social psych. Yeah. They really liked doing stuff with like the bystander effect or conformity or, those kinds of things.
You just reminded me of like my AP Psych class in high school because ours was taught by the gym teacher.
What?
And I don't think he had like any psychology training or anything.
What?
All the time he'd just be like, I want to go play basketball or something like that. Or I want to go to the gym and work out or something. And we're just like, okay. So that was the class I fell asleep in pretty regularly. But I remember for the final project, it was essentially like, go for some experiment, some research thing. And one of my friends went around and asked every single person in the school if they'd rather have their girlfriend smell like bacon or flowers, and only 2 people chose flowers in a school of 2,000.
Bacon smells good.
It does, but the only people who chose flowers were like, I don't want to get sick of the smell of bacon because if my partner smells like bacon every day, I'm going to get, sick of it.
That sentence makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I would have picked flowers. Honestly, I would have picked flowers, but maybe, yeah. I wonder what your sample was. Like, I'm thinking like, I don't know, want bacon over flowers. I don't know what that criteria is.
It was like the epic mealtime craze period of like everything's bacon everything.
They were primed. Maybe. Yeah. Didn't do experiments in my class. It was a lot of dreaming and consciousness too. People really dig learning more about like lucid dreaming, and I'm glad that you had some positive experience, maybe at the very end, that you got to like explore something.
When I was in undergrad, we did a research design class, and like we were talking a lot about like impacts on performance. Like, it was performance psychology. So I was like, well, we all know how audience reacts to you impacts performance. It can increase it or it can decrease it. And I was like, and what is the one thing all college students have in common is beer pong. So we were able to, in the 2 conditions, we would positively prime some people and negatively prime some other people, and then have them go into a room and play beer pong. And the school's IRB was like, you can't do that. I was like, we're not going to use beer. First off, it's a confounding variable. We cannot have the confounding variable. We'll use water. They're like, no, we cannot doing this as a thing we want to study. I was like, fine, we'll study like niceness or some crap. But I got to do that experiment in grad school, and we did the exact thing, water pong. We primed people having them draw a picture of a bear, and we just told people like, that was a really good bear or that was a really terrible bear. And there was a genuine effect that we saw in the beer pong, but our sample size wasn't big enough for us to have power. And I remember thinking like, This is why psychology is awesome, because we're taking things that shouldn't connect them and getting meaningful data from them. And like, yeah, that's a transfer. That's a sort of thing anybody could use. How awesome is that?
For sure. In grad school, like I was like so excited to be able to study the things that I wanted to study. I was obsessed with perfectionism and then the imposter phenomenon. Those are the two constructs for myself because I was trying to figure out like, how can I best do research and find the perfect study or all of the things, and looked at the factor structure of perfectionism in my grad school experience. And then I was like, how does this relate with imposter beliefs? Because I also feel like an imposter. Is there any type of relation here? Had the study, and I actually collaborated with some other people in grad school, and Dr. Ann Rinn, she also is a fantastic advisor, human. Her class on social emotional development like really inspired me. I want to give a shout out to her. So we used Hewitt and Flett's multidimensional perfectionism scale and Clance's imposter phenomenons. For those that don't know, there's 3 factors from that perfectionism scale. You have self-prescribed perfectionism, where like you set high standards for yourself, and that's why you have perfectionistic beliefs. And then socially prescribed perfectionism, where perfectionistic expectations or high expectations on you. And then there's other oriented, where you put it on other people. But I was mainly interested in those first 2, and then how that related to imposter beliefs. And we found that those that had socially prescribed perfectionism had higher imposter beliefs. So those that you feel like other people are putting high expectations on you, you tend to have higher imposter beliefs, which kind of feels like a duh thing, but it was really cool to see. Also, that honors college students, on average, all people experience the imposter phenomenon, by the way. All people do. But on average, they had a little bit higher. I just thought that it was fun to get to do that study. And it also kind of made me think about, okay, well, how could I not act in a way that I feel like I'm feeling like other people's expectations are shaping those imposter beliefs? And how can I be more self-driven? And I don't know, that I feel like that kickstarted some of my healing journey, in therapy. So
like we say, all research is research.
Yeah, it starts that way. And, hopefully it can be helpful to other people who have a shared experience.
I love doing my talk on imposter syndrome, and you are cited in there. I just double checked to make sure I wasn't lying.
Oh.
And I'm always like, and one of the ways we deal with this is like, as long as I'm perfect, they can't judge. And please see my talk on perfectionism that I'll do next time. But that's exactly it. And it's funny because I also definitely felt a lot of that socially prescribed perfectionism.
Mm-mm.
But I feel like as a therapist, I deal more with the other oriented perfectionism, the tendency of into kids to do, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You are not doing. Teacher, adults, and like, you want to know what's a great way to make friends? Call out your peers for doing normal kid stuff. Great, solid. Where do you think that comes from?
What, the other oriented perfectionism? I think that's learned behavior from, I don't know, maybe from parents. I don't know. I read a bunch of perfectionism literature and how parental styles can also impact some perfectionist beliefs. So I think it could be modeled by parental figures, teachers, siblings. I don't know. I feel like also society and media, social media, and judging people there probably lends itself to that. I'm trying to think. There's probably a multitude of factors that are contributing, but I would think that it's some type of like environment, like our current context of today, like social media, and then our models of our support system.
We get all the data and then run an ANOVA. I mean, I love it. I love a good ANOVA. I'm not sure. Maybe you're more of a MANOVA person, but like, that's right. We're making statistical jokes, friends. Like, we are that deep right now.
I like a good like regression a lot and some other stuff.
Oh.
So, but ANOVA, regression, they're buddies. Mm-hmm. It all goes back to a Pearson R. It's all good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good R, bad R. Good R, bad R.
Yeah, like it's all related to our correlation. So
it's funny, for like 90% of our listeners, this is nonsense. We sound like the mom from Charlie Brown. But for like the 10% who get it, they're like,
yay! Stat stats.
Right, people.
Other people are like, no,
Yeah.
no, you can do it too. You can do hard things. All people that are listening, you can learn this if you want.
And I always say, like, I was not a math person. My gifts are in the humanities. Like, that's where I did better. But I did really well with statistics, much more conceptual to me rather than like
Oh,
calc, which I was like, I don't understand this. Like, what is a cotangent? I don't like this. But like regression, you can see the change over time. That was something I could conceptually sink my teeth into.
mhm.
And I was that guy in grad school when we had to take our stats, comprehensive exam. Everybody was like, so Matt, how do all of these things work? I'm like, gather around, children. I will tell you. Ah, stats make sense. I like stats.
Yeah, yeah. Can I tell you a little story about like Lindsay's like struggle with math?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
we won't enjoy that at all.
Okay. So, okay, little story time. So, imagine 6-year-old Lindsay sitting at a desk in her first grade classroom. She's been given like a little math sheet and she's been asked to, complete this. Meanwhile, this teacher is very strict, very black and white. I just remember thinking, gosh, this lady's mean. And I really don't want to do this work. And it just set off, a chain of, I hate math. I don't want to do this. And so little Lindsay decided to get up and run out of the class. And I was going to run home.
Yes.
Yeah, because of the math. And really, I think the relationship with the teacher, but, I'm running down the hallway and I'm looking over my shoulder. There's like 5 teachers chasing after me. And I'm like, I'm going to get out of this. The counselor grabbed me and I went and sat in his office and, we talked. His name was Mr. Hayes. I was running from Miss Griffin because she was awful. Sorry, Miss Griffin, if you're still with us, but
Teach math differently.
yeah, teach math differently. I really didn't want to do that work, but we sat down and he spent time getting to know me. And that was actually what led me into getting testing. I remember taking some type of creativity assessment and they gave my mom some book. This was early 90s. So, social emotional development, like the Columbus group and everything. It was the big thing in gifted ed at that point. Gave my mom a book on creatively gifted. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I just want to be in a classroom where I feel like someone cares about me. And they ended up moving me into another classroom with Miss Cheatham, which was one of my favorite teachers. She's still around. She's so wonderful. I found a note because we did like little yearbook things and she wrote that she admired like my leadership or something like that. And I was a leader in her class. And you have those like models over time. But to get back to the math bit, it took me so long. I mean, I was always just okay at it. I really didn't like it. I remember telling myself, I always got into, arguments with my math teachers because it was just like, there was no gray area. It was either right or it was wrong. It wasn't until grad school. I mean, I got through my math classes and everything in college. I had a teacher, Dr. Hinson, who broke down statistics in a way that made sense to me and then built my confidence and said, I can do this. And I just fell in love with it. And like, now I'm a quantitative researcher for the most part, more mixed methods, but I like qualitative too. But my relationship with a math adjacent topic has changed because of people in my life, those support systems and why they're so important. Like I can empathize with the feelings of like, man, I really did not have a good relationship with it in K-12. The people matter in making it relatable or conceptual, or those relationships matter and how the content is presented, all of that.
Okay. So let's then go back to, this other oriented perfectionism, because I think this is a fascinating thing.
Yeah.
If we're being good researchers, right, we know it's a scattered plot, like there's a lot of pieces going on. One of the things I see a lot in the therapeutic work as it pertains to other oriented perfectionism is what I would call distress tolerance. Like so many of our kids are very anxious. I was a very anxious, gifted kid too. And it's like the rules keep us safe. The rules are there for a reason. You are supposed to behave in this way. And when kids are behaving in unexpected ways, it creates distress. And I think many gifted kids and 2E kids have bigger feelings and thus lower distress tolerance. So to me, it's like, if you would just act the way you're supposed to act, I will feel less bad, and then this will be good. Like that's what I see, like driving the bus from the therapy side of things.
Mhm.
And it's fascinating because this gets into that idea of like the rules we're allowed to follow, the rules that we're allowed to break, and the rules that are just kind of suggestion.
Mhm.
How do you communicate that to a kid where like most of those standards are based off a neurotypical model of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like you know that you're allowed to jaywalk here, versus like our kids are like, there's a side, there's a crosswalk over there.
Yeah, like for sure. I just thinking about, so I meet the criteria for inattentive ADHD. I didn't find out until I was an adult. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Pathological demand avoidance that
Yeah.
I encountered throughout my schooling, and now is going through that. So that's been kind of a healing bit of my inner child whenever we're working together with him. Self-regulation and not being demanding and using like declarative instead of imperative language,
Mhm.
and making some suggestions instead of like you have to do this. But it kind of goes back to like, yeah, what are those rules that you have to follow in school? And like, I don't think as humans we were supposed to just be sitting at a desk and just be like, it's okay to question, and sometimes we have to be flexible. I think that the traditional schooling model isn't the best for neurodivergent kids. And I mean, it could be, but it's just like, what can we bend, and what do we have to do? Like, is it a safety thing that we have to follow this? Or is it something like, could they have choice in the projects that they're doing? Is there some movement that you could do as an educator, rather than you have to do all of these worksheets because I say so, because the curriculum says so? I don't like that method of teaching. I don't think that I think some people fall back on that, but I think we can be creative in the ways that we help. And I think there are really good teachers out there doing that too.
For sure. And I remember like my trying to understand a little bit for some of these teachers who might not really get it or understand or have the experience in a sense. Like I remember growing up and going to school for education, and we had one class on special ed that was required for all teachers. It was a 1 semester course that focused mostly on like the history of special education, not what it is and like how to teach and how to reach certain kids and how to like empathize with them and like the different learning styles. And it was, it's hard. Like seeing, I got that as my experience for special ed, and then knowing that there's teachers who went to school before I did and didn't even get that level of special education training.
Yeah, I don't think it's required for teaching. I think it's like an extra thing that people will do here in Texas. There's like a little bit sprinkled in, but it's not like the focal point that I think that it needs to be. Because I remember getting into the classroom and like I had a little bit, but then like learning the IEP and 504, being on a committee to help a student and like all the different ways that you can modify. I think that there's training that teachers really do need to be able to help their students. And there's all just public education just generally. Like I remember I had 40 students in one class period. Being able to modify for so many students, like it's a lot. And that was for one class. I had like 30 plus in some other ones. I recognize the demands, the time demands, the mental demands, the everything that makes differentiation or these like modifications. Like whenever I've done professional development on differentiation, I'm like, I want to give you all the tools so you don't have to like think. Like you can think, but like have to spend time creating like a template, or think of like where to go to be able to do some of these things. And I think with technology now, there's a lot of teachers can use to help make those modifications, Gifted, and even I'm going to say ChatGPT can help modify some things now, which wasn't a possibility when I was a classroom teacher. But yeah, just so many things that with training and trying to make sure that teachers have access to resources. And it's not always, it doesn't have to be for every single lesson too that you do. Maybe it's like in the unit that you plan it. So focusing on what you can do with the limited resources and time and everything that you have.
Focusing on those strengths.
Exactly. Focus on the strengths. Get away from deficit thinking and like what you can't do. You got to focus on what you can do.
That like also brings up a really, really critical question that I just remembered that I had for you.
Yay.
And it connects perfectly to what we were talking about with AI. And I believe that Texas, I want to say, was one of the first states that has like a full AI school, which I have a lot of feelings about, but
I do too. Oh my
That's
God.
where my question's coming from, is like knowing that what you were talking about with your counselor's experience, like running out of school because part of it is you didn't have that connection with your teacher, knowing that you went from that to now there's fully AI oriented schools where they literally will not have a connection to their teacher at all, because it's like you're talking to an algorithm in a sense, not a person. Like, what do you think is going to end up happening in that kind of direction?
So I think that there is some great opportunities for technology integration with AI, and it has to be the human has to be involved. And I want to know, because I looked at their website just to be like, see like what it is that they're offering. And they claim that their system helps motivate students to work. But I'm like, I don't know that the task and like being able to persist and like continue on is motivating in itself. Like it can be, but I think that you're missing these relational dynamics that could be really helpful for a student, like in them learning how to self-regulate through difficult challenges, like something that we're working on with, which he's gotten so much better at, but he's still working on it. But like learning from failure and like picking yourself up, like something doesn't go the way that you think it's going to go. And if you don't have someone there to like talk to or give feedback beyond like this chatbot, how does that work? I want to know what the research is behind that model. And is it effective? And how is that affecting students' well-being, their motivation, their, like all of these other aspects of their learning? I don't know what they've done already, but that's what I'm thinking about. Is it what they say it is? And then also, I really think that like the human has to be involved. I don't think that that's a model that we should not be replacing teachers with AI. I think that could be even dangerous to create echo chambers of information that might, right? I mean, we have to teach students to critically and the input into AI models. And we actually had a session on this at TAG. Dr. Melanie Meyer and I, she's my grad school bestie, we're both interested in these like AI policies and like how to best do this. But yeah, critically thinking about what it is that you are putting into these models, and even like the data that it's basing information on. I think there's some really good uses for it, but it's not the end all be all. For listeners, I would be skeptical of a fully online AI driven tool, because we still need educators and we still need people and human connection. I feel like in a time where we're constantly on our devices and on our, your computer, you're lacking in human connection, and we need to have more of that.
And like, I'm no Luddite, but to me, it's like whenever we talk about AI, I always think of Jeff Goldblum's line from Jurassic Park, where it's like you were so busy trying to figure out if you could, you never stop to think about whether you should.
Yes.
We can run a school on AI. Let's do it. But it's cool that we have that capability. I am fully capable of drinking an entire bottle of tequila right now. I don't think it's a great idea.
I love that you said that. I was talking to my spouse about this. I was like, because there's so many instances like where you're like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you, because people are like creating chatbots or creating like these different AI tools. Do you have to? Is it going to make it really efficient, or is that just making more work? So I love that. Yeah, I've used that too. So I'm like, yes, absolutely.
So then let's sort of zoom out from this moment we're in right now. I think AI is one of the biggest questions of our time right now. Right? As we record this podcast, it's a very contemporary issue. And you've taken a rather large stand on that, right? And I think it's appropriate, it's research driven, it's backed up by your research and your professional, all those things. So like, how does it feel to be a thought leader? Because we started talking about the imposter phenomenon, about 40 minutes ago, but now here we're coming back. Like, I think that's something that you and I, as younger people in the field, relatively speaking, like, I know it's something I've wrestled with, and I would think that you have as well. What's it like wrestling with those two competing identities of like, I don't know anything. I'm still a baby. And like, no, I actually know a lot about this shit and you should listen to me.
So I am still trying to figure that part out, honestly. I feel like lots of healing and therapy and things like that, finding my own voice has been something that I've been working on. So in my spare time, I do women's self-defense and jujitsu. And part of women's self-defense is also finding your voice. And I feel like that, I know that's something not necessarily scholarly, but it is something that is definitely, I don't know, been very helpful on women's self-empowerment, you know?
I'm just saying Socrates would say otherwise.
I know, you're right. So I think about, you see all of this content online. So I'm on TikTok. I don't really post on TikTok. I want to, I'm on, other social media, and I see people post things and I'm like, gosh, I could share something that might. And so just thinking through like even what I'd want to share, because there was such a long time where I'm like, gosh, I do all this research and I love writing, but like being perceived, I struggle with that. And it's mainly grad students or like other people that I'll meet at conferences. They'll tell me something like, oh, I saw your presentation on this, or I read this paper that you've written. And I'm like, oh my gosh, people are reading the things that I do. And I've been trying to just sit with that recently and being like, I do know some things and I can share that with people and make education better, help parents and families with their kids, and I don't know, make a difference in my own way. And I think it's a lot of, okay, so random, maybe not. Have you guys ever heard of, I think it's, oh gosh, how do I pronounce it? Ikigai? I think it's Ikigai.
Is it like IKEG?
Ikigai. It's a Japanese term for reason for being. And it was something that I reflected on recently. It's about what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. And reflecting, so like on your passion, your mission, like your profession. I've been reflecting a lot on that for myself, thinking about like what I could give back to the world. And I think that that's been helping empower me, that like, gosh, I really need to focus on the things that I love to do and what I'm good at. And I think just over time you build some, I don't know, some strength in that, some mental toughness, persisting through challenges and like believing in myself. I don't know.
What a concept.
Yeah, but I actually have, listeners can't see this, but there's a book called, come on, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I was like, send it to us and we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. But anyways, that's been like reflecting on that. I don't know if that answers the question or not, but I feel like that being a thought leader, I don't know. I just really like talking through ideas with people, and some of them are really bad ideas sometimes, and that's okay. I was telling someone, I'm like, sometimes you got to try the thing and forgive yourself if it's not something that's viable, and just keep moving. The other part, okay, so I've been saying this a lot, but right now in this day and age, learning is a form of rebellion too.
Yeah, it is.
I've been telling my son that too. Learn as much as you can, because knowledge is power. Learning is rebellion. You got to learn as much as you can so that you can help yourself, help other people, the community. So I feel like me continuing to learn as much as I can also models that. I would encourage other people who, I don't know, want to be a thought leader or be a scholar or be, I don't know, just a human being. Just continue to learn and try, share knowledge with other people that can help better their lives.
Well, you are absolutely doing that. And that's why we've created this space to talk about great people doing great work. And that's why we invited you to be on this space to talk about great people doing great work. Take that, imposter phenomenon.
Yeah.
Counter argument.
Yeah.
As Maya Angelou told me once, either you have fooled me.
I'm sorry, what?
My Maya Angelou. Okay, really short version because Lindsay has to go.
That's okay. I've got time.
I talked my way into her writing class when I was at Wake Forest. And on the first day, I was like, Dr. Angelou, I don't know how I got into this class. Ha, 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 self-effacing humor. And she looked me dead in the eye. She's like, well, Matt, one of two things is true. You have to submit a writing sample for this class. So either you fooled me and you're not a great writer, but you managed to trick me into getting into this class, or you're a better writer than you think you are, and I see talent in you that you don't see in yourself. And I'll tell you this, friends, I've been speechless 6 times in my life, and that was one of them.
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's the thing. So either you're a trickster goddess, right? Or you're actually as badass as the rest of us think you are. So it's one of those two things.
Gosh, for you to have that moment with Maya Angelou, I'm like, I freaking love her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's so cool. And for her to speak that into
I mean,
you.
I was just
love
like,
that.
I've never felt more seen or and smaller in the same moment in my life. Additional fun fact, she didn't teach on campus. So imagine like driving across Winston-Salem in your shitty college car to Maya Angelou's house. It was quite, she made snickerdoodles. These are the things you remember.
Oh my
Yeah, it
God.
was wild.
I'm so jealous.
And I was taking too many classes, so I could only audit it. So like I like only could show up a few times. And I was like, I'm not running from you. I really am doing all the writing, I promise. We can always talk about Dr. Angelou. She was amazing. But Lindsay, you are just doing such incredible work. As someone who largely left the research world behind, your ability to create research and speak research in a way that's accessible to other people, it's hard to make people get scared of numbers. We talked about that before. Like, but your stuff, people see it and they go, oh, I can work with that. And then we understand our kids better and then we can serve them better. So it is really a win-win.
Appreciate that. I try. You're making me emotional. Like I really appreciate you saying those things and leaving my little piece in this world to make things better and connect research to practice, because it can be scary. I've talked to so many people who are really scared of quantitative research. I'm like, no, you can get this. This is what this means. I don't know, just being accessible to all people, because think that it's beneficial to anyone to create research, for it to be in this behind a paywall, all the other academics, they get to read it. Like, why are you doing research? Like, what's the practical implications of like the thing that you're doing? Is it just to prove that you can do a particular method? Which, I mean, that's maybe some people's why, but I think that whenever we do research, it should make a difference somehow to connect it to people. I think psychology and educational psychology and the work that you do, it also so many different people, and we're talking about neurodivergent people, and there's just such a wide variety of differences that gotta help in some way to make learning for our kids better, and not just like this cookie cutter, like sit in at a desk. We got to think creatively, and we've got to, bring creativity into the classroom and think through different ways of learning and creating learning environments that are better for all students, not just the neurodivergent students, but really for all of our students. Kind of went on a little tangent, but I appreciate you thinking of me.
It's the kind of tangent a thought leader would go on.
Oh.
Yeah, all right, we brought it all the way through.
Yay.
All right, now we are running short of time, and we know you've got to go, but we cannot let you go without answering our final question. Right? This is part of the gig. Real quick, if you could have one superhero on speed dial, Lindsay, who would it be?
And why?
And why? Okay.
Do we have time for why?
Okay, so I love Jean Grey. I'm gonna, I read all of the, Phoenix, Dark Phoenix. I really want telekinesis. I would call her to help me, she has psychic abilities. She can, move things with her mind. I love that. And I think it's just because I wish I could do that. I mean, there's other ones too, but I'm gonna pick Jean Grey.
Love it.
I don't really want to read minds, but she could read the minds for me,
Right.
I don't want to know people's deepest, darkest thoughts, but if I needed to know something, I could be like, hey,
come here for a second.
Yeah.
I'm like imagining you just being like, I don't feel like going to do this stuff. I want the telekinesis, so I'm going to like call Jean Grey, come to my house. Can you make that thing over on the other side of the room float to me?
But that's why I was saying I want telekinesis, but but she's also like she's a kick-ass character. So I just love her.
And an iconic love triangle.
Yeah, that too. But that's not the reason. I think that she was really powerful in her own. I wish that she didn't have the competing guys, but I love that whole Dark Phoenix story arc. I just think it's fun.
Totally here for it.
Yeah.
I love Phoenix and Jean Grey.
Yeah.
But my question for you is, what's your favorite word and why?
That's really hard. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna say one. Okay, I have two, maybe.
Go for it. Both of them.
Okay, I like serendipitous. I use that one a lot. I think serendipity is kind of a cool thing, like things that happen by chance, randomly. I feel like things in life, in the universe, will connect and they'll be like, wow, that was so serendipitous. And I just like saying that. The other one, I don't know why I like this one. It's epistemology. Like, I don't know. I just think it's cool, study of knowledge.
Just the word or the actual thing?
I think it's the thing.
Okay.
I think it's the meaning, but epistemology. So I couldn't say it. Epistemological. That was hard.
That's like my favorite philosophy subject to teach.
Oh, really? It's fun.
It's epistemology.
Yeah, it is. It's so ontology and like all of
You're
that.
like getting into my realm, right?
Yeah. No.
Oh no, we're out of time.
Ah!
This is the launch episode of our Spin-Outs podcast. What the hell is epistemology? See, I can't say it either. No, I love that. Gosh, that's a good word though. It's the first time I think it's the first time we've gotten both of those answers. First Jean Grey and first
Epistemology.
Thank you, Jake.
It's okay. I had to work at it. It's okay.
Yeah, I couldn't say specific when I was a kid. I kept saying Pacific.
I did that too. And cinnamon. I couldn't say cinnamon. I said
Anemone. Anemone. Oh, man. Oh, we've reached the point of the podcast where we've just gone off the deep end, which is probably a good sign that we should wrap it up. Lindsay, you're amazing. We're so happy to have you. Happy birthday again. You are terrific. And we'd love to have you. Should your imposter phenomenon allow?
If there's a chance for me to come talk about some other things with you or just continue, these topics, I'm happy to.
Well, we're going to hold you to that.
Okay.
So for all of us here at Nerding Out on Neurodiversity, thanks for joining us, learning with us, learning from us, and as always, for trusting us with your time. Hope you had some fun. For all of us here, I'm Dr. Matt Zakreski. Jake, send us out.
Take care, everybody. As always, great to be here. Lindsay, wonderful meeting you, and thank you so much for choosing epistemology as one of your words, because that means a lot to me personally, but...
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Take care, guys.
Nerding Out on Neurodiversity is brought to you by Dr. Matt Zakreski and the team at the Neurodiversity Collective. To learn more about the Neurodiversity Collective or to be a guest on the podcast, please visit our website at www.theneurodiversitycollective.com/podcast. Audio and production by Jake Noonan. Show your support by subscribing, leaving a 5-star review, and telling your friends about us. Our Instagram and social media handles are at #NoonPodcast, NOON podcast. Your support is appreciated and keeps us going. All discussions presented on this podcast are strictly for informational purposes, awareness, and understanding. The advice presented is not and should not be considered to be therapeutic in nature. If you have any mental health questions, please contact your provider. All rights reserved.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.